Woohoo! StreamYard didn't freak out for me. Yay! Yay! Okay.
Definitely a good thing.
That's very exciting. Okay. Yeah, I'm very happy about that. I'm not sure if it's been something I've been doing on my own machine. I've been trying a few things. So it might have been something I did internally. I don't know what. But countdown, talking, see everybody, hear everybody. Perfect. Hi, Rosemary. Hi, Gina.
Hello.
Which one of you wants to tell me about who you are first?
Either or. I guess I'll go first.
Okay.
I'm Rosemary. I basically enjoy coming on and having these conversations. Gina?
Hi, I'm Gina. I'm maybe content creator in the future. I've done a couple talks on SE, and I am sometimes practice host in the SE Discord.
Mm-hmm. And I will say she's really good at that. She's not only a practice host, she is a trainer of practice hosts. Anyway, yes. Yeah, and that's not to throw any shade on any other of the practice hosts. We have some awesome ones. We got some Sushi, some Angela, some Luke, I'm not even gonna try. It's just too many.
We got some really cool new hosts there. Angela's fantastic.
And a meta shout out to Ragnar, who's the administrator of the Discord,
and he has stepped in a lot.
I think he's just amazing and rocks and those kind of things, and I don't tell him that often enough. Anyway, so are there any announcements? I don't know about any. There was one that was running to the end of September because we were doing a donation matching toward documentary toward Daryl Davis, and that has expired, but still it's a good thing. Hey Chase, hey Morgan.
Hi there.
So let's see. No announcements. Inviting callers. Yes. So if you, I pinned to the top of the chat the StreamYard link if you'd like to come visit us and fill that obvious fourth slot in the windows and come talk to us. Bring any claim you like, or you could ask us to take a claim and have you do the interview, or you could talk anything about SE or something like that. And until you do, we're going to talk amongst ourselves. Oh, you can also kibitz from the chat, and we'd be happy to answer questions and take suggestions from the text chat as well. That also makes a decent show. Anyway, Gina, you were talking about a question or a claim or a topic that you wanted to bring.
I wanted to talk about the pros and cons of being a content creator because I'm still kind of on the fence about it.
Okay.
I want to make this decision fairly soon. And it would help me get out of my own head to talk this out with someone.
Cool. So you're talking out with the two of us and all of them. So
well. I think the idea is that maybe some of this might be interesting to someone else who's kind of on the fence too.
Yeah. So I guess the claim is something like it would be good for the world for you to be a content creator, or maybe it's good for the community, or maybe it's good for you.
I'm not sure.
May I take the you part first?
Okay.
Because the world, they can wait. I'm very much of the idea. Put the mask on first before you deal with your kid. There's a balance there, and you have to make sure that you're capable of it first. So don't mess yourself up, I think, before anything. But that's my own opinion. Here I am messaging right up front. Okay.
I welcome messaging on this one.
Okay, good.
I don't usually the first to call you on that.
Yes, that's good. Okay. Claim.
So this is one where I absolutely want to hear your opinions.
Okay. Make SE content. See if that makes sense. It is good for a person to make SE content.
To make and publish.
Okay. Make and publish. Alrighty. So, what reasons would you have in support of a claim? What could be the benefits to a person? Because just keeping it focused on the actual creator, what benefits confer to the creator for making SE content?
More practice with SE is a big one. Having the feedback and, well, maybe probably support of the SE community.
Sure.
Finding one's own voice and style. Being creative and having fun with it. Branching out, doing something a little risky and scary, like you don't know what's going to happen after you put it out there.
Okay, so there's an adventure component?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
Excuse me. There's a personal growth aspect to practicing SE more, getting over my shyness and a little bit more of the social anxiety.
Okay, so the term personal growth to me is really vague, but if I skip past it to get over stage fright, get over shyness, break through social barriers,
social anxiety, yeah.
Social anxiety, overcome social anxiety. Are there things that you could do that would be better than creating SE content for the purpose of getting over social anxiety?
Yeah, getting out of the house, just talking to neighbors, joining some kind of organization, volunteering.
Okay, so just social immersion might do a similar job.
Yeah.
Do you think creating or promoting, publishing, anyway, making SE content, do you think that's equally good to like the usual other go be part of a club and talk to people?
Maybe. I'm not sure. I think it'd be have a farther reach. I think there's an aspect to doing this that reaches beyond my own neighborhood, my own area.
Okay, so by publishing, you reach past your physical touch limits or physical visit limits. Okay. All right. Yeah. I note I want to just reinforce, I really enjoy visiting with a whole lot of people in all the time zones. And I find that as long as scheduling permits, time zone is a non-barrier for me. Really, the only barrier is English. Yeah. Stephen was shouting so I can hear him. SE can be a bit more structured than social clubs, so can lessen social anxiety. I hope I read that right. Cool. Okay, so on that's a pretty good list on the positive side. Staying on the positive, Rosemary, can you think of anything that she missed?
Let's see. I think I would agree to a lot of those that I feel like I would feel the same way about social anxiety and stuff. But the practice, personal, I think meeting people, meeting new people
Mm-hmm.
would be a positive.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So it's a good place for meeting people, which I guess the benefit of meeting people is expanding your social network and your social support structure, diversifying friendship opportunities so that single failures of relationships have a lesser impact on your life, those kinds of things.
Yep. And just knowing more people's stories, because SE is a good way to learn about people and having a better awareness of the broader society we live in.
Okay. Okay.
I think that was a major goal, like understanding how people come to beliefs, like the stories and their backgrounds. And I think personal experience has a lot to do with how we form our beliefs and the things that kind of reinforce them.
Mm-hmm.
So it really would, I think talking to more people like this where we're saying our own opinions aside so they don't feel threatened would really help to foster more understanding that way.
So that's a benefit of SE versus regular social engagement. Yeah. Yeah.
Because with regular social engagement, especially on really spicy topics, it gets like people get contentious, people get combative. And I think when there's an expectation when we're talking to people that somehow the people in like our immediate circle and our in group will automatically agree with us, and if they don't, then there's something that becomes threatened.
Yeah. Yeah. I had a conversation some weeks back on the subject of indigenous people having their land taken away. And there were three people. One of them was strongly informed and strongly opinionated. The other two admitted knowing almost nothing about the situation. And they jumped on strongly agree and agree.
I know about that situation that you're talking about too.
Yeah, that one was published. And you can tell who I mean in this case. I'm not being cagey about it.
I know who you mean. That was actually interesting, and I learned about that situation in Mauna Kea from learning that language.
Oh, cool. Yeah, it's an interesting political situation there on Mauna Kea. And I think I could steel man both sides of it and without even telling you where I stood on it.
I don't have an opinion because I don't live there. So, and I'm not a native Hawaiian. I'm not Kanaka. So I don't really have an opinion.
What if I had? No, I'm gonna wait for that for later. Okay, I'm gonna kill that message. So what I found interesting was that based on one of the arguments that one of her friends gave, the one who was initially on strongly agree moved to slightly agree, while they stayed where they were. I thought that was fascinating.
They shifted there.
Yeah, it was fascinating. But anyway, we're going off topic and that sort of thing. So I want to pivot on Morgan's comment about what of those benefits. I don't know if you can enumerate the 8 or 9 that you gave. Which of those benefits matter about publishing compared to doing SE but without publishing? The difference between what you do now, because I want to say you do a heck of a lot of SE. You run SE practices. You do private SE with people. I think you're the one person I would point to the most. If somebody says, I want to do SE, but I don't want to be recorded, I would say, I'm happy to do some of that with you, but go talk to Gina. That's her specialty, is the willingness to be really cool about privacy boundaries and give you the room. So the big praise for that, and that's something that's not obvious to people. If they don't know what's going on, you're just keeping. So what benefits come from publishing compared to just doing SE?
I think there's a broader reach with publishing. A benefit of publishing SE. I think the broader reach, making people, even in my own neighborhood, in my own area, more aware of this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think if I actually, this is maybe the thing that terrifies me the most. If I put stuff out there, I'd actually have to promote it. It's to you, it's nothing. You've been doing this almost. Well, you have been doing this for 2 years.
But I don't promote. I don't put any effort into promoting my work. I don't ask people to subscribe. I don't ask people to like. I don't step it out on Twitter. I don't spend any effort beyond the publishing of the thing to promote my channel. Oh, and I suppose, I put my link in the description of other shows that I help out on. I guess this is promotion for my channel a little bit because I'm putting my face out there, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I do these things, but truly,
you're making people aware that it's out there. I think
I am. Yeah, and other people are doing a lot of promoting in a synergistic way. I mean, whatever success I've had, I have to blame at least half of it on Reed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm his sidekick. I look great in tights with a little mask.
That's an image I don't need. Okay, sorry.
Anyway, okay, but this isn't about me. It's just an example. Okay, so if you made published content, you would have an obligation to do extracurricular, if that's the right word, additional promotion, and that might feel like a negative.
It's just that's the biggest negative right now. I think that's the thing that scares me the most. It's like I'm doing all these things, but nobody's really aware of it.
Rosemary, what do you think about that?
I'm thinking, is it important to you to make people aware of it? Is that where you're at right now? Are you trying to decide that if it's important, or do you know?
That's what I'm not sure about. It's important that people are aware of it because does it give me more credibility, have more of a say, or more right to an opinion about others' recordings or conversations if I'm actually putting mine out there to be critiqued in a similar way? Or if I'm publishing my own content, does that give me more of a voice in the community? Does that make it okay for me to do reviews versus just working quietly in the background?
So, Rosemary, let's assume, I'm just making a hypothetical, that you decided to make SE content outside of paneling here or interacting in other SE opportunities. So if you're actually to publish yourself, would you find the operation of promoting yourself or promoting your channel, would you find that arduous or scary or anything negative?
I mean, there's a certain amount of intimidation because I'm a type of person who, I like to put myself out there at the same time I don't like to put myself out there. Like the fear of what happens when you put yourself out there, even if it's a positive thing. So I think that would be where I would, but I don't think I would find it arduous. It's just, I think what would be more arduous would be actually publishing the content, like editing and that sort of thing.
Okay.
That's a negative. That's on the negative side.
On the negative side, the actual work of the publishing as opposed to just having the conversation. I guess I'm just talking about the difference between if you're already having the conversations, there's certainly an additional load of setting up cameras, setting up recording, making sure your audio is good. By the way, audio is at least 80% of SE. You could we could do this entirely and it would almost be better. The visual is because we're here on YouTube and that's a great place to go. But how pretty I am is not important. It's a good thing. It's a good thing that's not important. So Rosemary, do you in your other avocations, jobs, promote yourself? Is that something that your job requires?
It does not require for what I do. So if I were in private practice, I would definitely have to be pushing to get clients and such. But in my job, since I just work in the background, then that's part of why I like my job.
Yeah. Could you summarize what your job is? What do you do?
I'm a law clerk. So I do the reading and research and writing.
So you're part of a team, and on that team, you have marketing and promotion people, and that's just somebody else's job. If that's just another cost center. No?
Not even for what I do, because I work for the government. So I don't.
Okay. State or federal?
State, technically, I guess.
Okay. So you work for the state and they assign you tasks based on their need to provide a kind of service.
Right. That would be a good way to put it. Okay,
good. I don't want to get too detailed, like you're dealing criminal or civil. That's not really part of the question. So cool. Promotion is a non-issue. Now, how about the work of, do you have to go through like extra media work to make sure you're well photographed or well recorded in your work, or is it?
Nope.
Is your output like text on paper or text in documents that are handed to something with the clerk and the all that
exactly.
Kind of so
I take okay.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I take documents and I create documents. Everything on paper.
So how much of your effort goes to creating a really well-formed and understood document as opposed to just providing the basic content?
Probably 80%. If I were to like divide it up, like
80% is above the content. 20% is content. 80% is polishing, or making sure the proofreading, making sure the format is right, making sure you're following the rules of the court, of the thing, of the.
Yeah, well, I guess I'm thinking of that as the 20% then, because I'm thinking like 80% is like the reading, the content, thinking, and the researching.
20% polish.
Yeah, 20% polish.
That's cool. Okay. I'm gonna let me talk. I'm gonna go to the comments and then we'll come right back to this. Let's see. The question is practicing SE, but the benefit of publishing SE. Yes, that is the difference. That's the consideration. It's not the not doing SE. It's whether to take it to the next step. The Inspire Reflection channel, William. Oh, I love William. The Chint reviews have been great for hearing about other people's lives. So Abe is getting a lot of benefit from the actual content of the thing. Hello, Luke. It's good to see you. Stephen says publishing SE will hopefully encourage more people to engage in SE, therefore make it easier to talk to people in the long run. Oh, so one of the benefits that you were talking about was the ability to engage with people and reducing social anxiety. So let me ask the whole panel, how much does viewing other SE content help you in your interactions that are not published?
Actually, it helps a lot. That's kind of how I got started with this, like viewing Anthony's videos and later read, and then later you and Mark.
Yeah.
But it was
The other two, yeah, and Anthony and Reed, yeah, them two.
Anthony, I think it was Anthony, Reed, then you,
Mm-hmm.
and then Mark and Nathan, but and Will,
Nathan.
Nathan
We're lousy with
Ferguson.
Nathan, by the way. We got so many
That's right.
Nathans.
Nathan Ferguson, and more recently, Navigate with Nate.
Yep.
He's cool. He's a great new creator.
I'm also a huge fan of Nathan Ormond.
Digital Gnosis.
Digital Gnosis, yeah. And he doesn't mostly do SE. He's mostly counter apologetics and philosophy, but he's got a strong SE vibe to his mode, and I think that helps a lot.
Mm-hmm.
How about you, Luke?
Good. I'm good. I called in today because I have a claim.
Excellent. Okay, so you're a caller, not a panelist. Cool.
Yeah. I'm not a panelist today. I wasn't sure, but like you see, I wasn't available at the time, but now I am.
Now you are. Good. So, Luke, how much does viewing SE help you in your in any of those benefits that she talked about? Social anxiety, being able to get out of your own space, improve your social reach, increase your social network.
Not at all. I don't think I'm watching SE. Oh yes, I watched a review of you and
okay, you watch
below.
reviews.
Yeah.
Nice.
For background noises purposes. and the guy that you were reviewing was a Christian, so I was like, okay, it was a conversation with Kyle.
I'll take the view. I'm happy. That's fine with me.
But lately,
the other day I asked somebody a question of, so what that visual component? They said, I don't know. I was listening to you while I was watching football. All right.
I'm usually doing dishes. Or
I'm also cooking dinner, eating dinner.
Yeah, I don't need your eyeballs. Yours are plenty.
The visual is interesting when you look at it live, or if you want to. The fact that I was able to see what guys look like in the conversation. It was a video of Kyle and some other guy.
I connect and remember people much more if I have a face in mind, even if I only have a still picture. It's strange, but I guess it's just the way my memory works. Is I tie down what they're saying to their person with a face. With a name, it's like a little vague. I watch a news show, TLDR, out of England, and there's 4 people on the cast, and they all sound the same to me. Or if I can't see them on screen, I can't tell which one's talking.
Yeah.
How about you, Rosie?
TLDR.
How watching it helps me.
Yeah. Does watching published SE help you in social anxiety, increasing social network? The other 8 things that she mentioned that were all kind of one large chunk. I think
it definitely benefited me in showing me conversations of, like, when I discovered SE was when I deconverted. And so I was searching for, I know, crazy. Searching for content, and then deconversion came first.
Okay. So deconversion led to your looking at SE because SE was
coming up in my YouTube recommendations based on my
Okay. Yeah.
So that was
I think I was searching for critical thinking sort of stuff when SE popped up. Critical thinking / atheism.
Yeah. So, there's a real strong atheism bent in SE, but it's by no means a rule. There's no exclusivity to the question. It's just that happened to be where it got started.
And I think this was like 2019 when I came across it. So, and then I think one thing is that, like, because I was viewing that material, I signed up for one of Reed's, like, on, like, he has those times set up, and then like that's kind of how I got hooked into the community. It was like, because instead of jumping in on like Discord or in a large group situation, I just did that one-on-one conversation, and
Okay.
like it kind of has gone from there.
Okay. Did that one
In
get
like
published?
last year? No,
No.
it's not
Okay.
published.
No wonder I haven't seen it. Okay.
No one will have seen it.
Yeah. Abe says
No
when
one will
someone's-
never see it.
Oh no, they will not have seen it as of right now. I have no idea if they'll never see it.
Oh, okay, because it has been recorded.
Yeah.
Reed has an entire shelf of terabyte drives. He saves
Everything.
Yeah. So if
But-
you ever wanted that, fair bet that it's possible.
It's there.
Yeah.
But it did expand my social network because I was watching SE content. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
I love the SE community. Lovely stuff. Lovely people. Abe says when someone is using SE, they try and speak in a way that intentionally aims to be understood and to understand, which is my favorite part. Yes.
Me
It's
too.
really good for communication. Morgan says, my opinion, getting reviewed, producing material that can be used as examples to spread the method and its benefit. There's something more to that sentence. I think that means it's good to get reviewed, produce material. Okay, something.
Yeah.
Like
it's part of the
Listen.
benefits of publishing.
I think what he is saying is like this is a benefit, like putting it out there to be reviewed is a good way of spreading it.
Yes, indeed. Jim B says, I think publishing is useful for others and your method too, like peer review. Yeah, the feedback from others. I personally started trying to use SE in 18 and I sucked and crashed and burned and it was bad. By 19, I was getting okay. And at the beginning of 20, I met up with Reed and started getting immediate feedback on every conversation, immediately following from all these different places and peoples and my heroes. And it was awesome. The feedback improved my SE so much more than my individual practice. So that was really good. Morgan says it helps to see the method not only on paper but in actual action. Yeah, the difference in theory versus theory and practice, it's a huge distinction. So on the downside, now we talked about the cost of the effort of editing and the various things like that. And I'll just mention the SE community has a creators committee currently run by Mark Solomon, where any of those things that you find arduous can be delegated. If you want someone to edit your stuff, if you want someone to help set up your equipment, choose equipment, learn how to use it properly, do it as a team out in public. By the way, that's the only way I do it. I never go out alone. That's my social anxiety. I have crippling social anxiety. I don't know if you knew that.
I can't tell here.
You can't tell. And I blame it on SE. I'm not able to go out in public alone, by the way.
I'm a little more obvious.
Yeah. I mean, I look like a ringleader when I'm that only happens in teamwork in the right environment. And otherwise I'm like, one of the benefits I want to add on your positive side, I guess it's the social anxiety. It kind of flows in there. But for me, it has been a huge improvement in my ability to go out and have the guts to speak to somebody new, be able to go out on my own and have a conversation that's more than just a clerk, here's the money, and just stuff, get out, something like that. So it's been a huge benefit for me. Okay, on the downsides. We talked about the publishing downsides are the costs and efforts.
Well, the costs, a little bit. The efforts more so. I think the efforts are what I find, like, thinking about it, most overwhelming. The idea of having to learn to tolerate the sound of my own voice, for one. Learn to edit video and audio, and then publish it. and then like put it out there just to say be brutal or don't be brutal.
Yeah. To invite feedback is dangerous.
It's hard. It's scary as hell.
Yeah. And you have to be willing to take the good with the bad, or the bad with the good. Either way. Yeah, indeed. Okay, so that's the only downside. The little bit of effort, a little bit of exposure.
There was something else. Like I don't want it to be
canceled.
For what?
Have you seen these claims?
I'm just talking to them. I'm not like agreeing with them necessarily.
Yeah, but you're platforming people with outrageous ideas.
To examine them and get them out of the open, like maybe help people think critically about them.
Okay, so it sounds like you don't think that's much of a risk.
It's not too much.
Okay.
It's not a deal breaker.
Mm-hmm.
It's a risk, but it's not the biggest one.
Have you considered the downside of addiction?
Yes.
Does that scare you?
Yes.
Okay, you might get addicted to publishing content and have a need for those sweet views or
the feedback or like monetization or
chasing a monetization or chasing dragon, whatever of
money.
Chasing.
But I want to have a video that performs better than my last best one or something.
Yeah. There's that risk.
Yeah. I just don't ask people to like and subscribe, so I'm not worried about it. Ha ha ha.
You're just putting it out there. You're not really attached to how people engage with it.
I need an excuse for failure. Don't take that away from me. Yeah. Okay, so that's the only downsides.
There was something else.
Oh,
yeah, there's that. That's chasing the whole dream of the being a YouTube influencer type thing. Being in it somewhere along the line, like losing the plot or getting off track, forgetting why I'm doing this and chasing views.
Okay. Have you seen any creators go down that path?
I'm not sure. Not that I can recall.
I can't think of any examples either, and I only have a very small N of about 50 creators that I'm familiar with.
I'm maybe familiar with less than half that.
Morgan asks, any reason why David from Sound Epistemology is not involved in the community that much? I find him pretty good. I also find him really good. Yes, I've had recent.
I find him interesting.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's got huge guts. He's got great commitment. He's got great rapport and style, and he's very experimental. He likes to try all sorts of things. So all those are thumbs up for David. He doesn't interact on the Discord. It's not his style. And so I have to get a hold of him by email, sort of like with Rosemary.
I talked to him like yesterday during the creators meeting.
Yeah. He's definitely part of the inter-creator support thing, which is excellent.
I talk to him every once in a while. Like if there's something I really need on the Discord, I can give him a shout. Sometimes by email. His last video, well, maybe not last one, but a recent one he did with Brittany, I thought was outstanding. I just like gave it a thumbs up. Brittany, I think it was in Olympia, the white women's power conversation.
Yes, I saw that one.
He did a really fantastic job with that one.
Yeah, that one is awesome. I would love to review that sometime. The downside is it's a little over an hour, if I remember right, and it's a slow burn. There's so much. She goes over the same thing a bunch of times, and then, spoiler, at the end, she really shifts her opinion. There's a big change of mind that occurs there, and it's not because he pushed her; it's because he just walked along the path with her. So, such a good example of SE, and of course, it's pushing the limits for the length of a review show, but such a good example of patience and not taking the bait, because she hung the red meat out there so much.
That
Wow,
was...
if you were reactive, you were not going to get through that conversation.
That's another plus. Like doing SE, like even practicing on the Discord, it's like I've had to learn patience. I've had to learn not to be quite so reactive.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm never reactive. Luke knows better.
Trans.
But yeah.
Queer stuff. Anyway, so I spoke with David recently. He's working really hard on getting a lot of stuff recorded, because he's going to be taking a hiatus. First of all, doing the winter for weather purposes, and I think he's also doing something medical coming up, and he wants to have a bunch of things to edit. He's also very happy to be a panelist, especially on review shows, much more than he is on the call-in shows. That's more his style. And he's just been putting his focus on getting a backlog so that he can continue to publish weekly while he takes a few months of not going out in the world for all sorts of reasons. We will see David on this Foursquare layout sometime in the next months. As he's available. He's interested, and he's really focused, and that's good. Yes, there is a Discord. It's called the Street Epistemology Discord. If you look in the links in the bottom, there's a Street Epistemology links, and you'll find the invitations to the Discord along with several other things available there. Hello, what's going on here?
Hey, Joby.
Hello, Joby. Yeah, you haven't seen David getting reviewed or involved in reviewing other. I think we've only probably reviewed maybe one of his things, and partially that's because reviews are kind of driven a bit by the creator. They ask, and then we coordinate, and that doesn't have to be the case. Anybody can ask for a review, and then we check with the creator of the review, and if they say, yeah, this is good to be reviewed, then we go ahead and do it. Is he in the Northwest USA? Yes, he's in his
Washington.
Sound epistemology. That's referring to Puget Sound in Washington State. That's what he means. Let's see. Yes, it is an SE call-in show, not about discovering what's actually true, and more exploring justified confidence. Yes, indeed. So, up and down hypotheticals, and then confidence and out. So, what would increase your confidence that you becoming a publisher improves your life?
I am not very high confidence right now. I'm feeling a little bit cynical about this. I can't say I'm more than 55%.
Okay. What would decrease your confidence? What would lean you the other direction?
If I had more reasons not to do this.
Okay, so everybody in the chat, put in your favorite reason for her not to do publishing.
Not to do publishing?
Yeah, because she's vague on the hypothetical down. So let's make sure that set of options.
Well, you already played. You played Devil's Advocate already, so
okay.
Luke Rosemary.
What?
Luke or Rosemary, how about it?
Can you think
ups
of
and downs?
That you should or shouldn't? Yeah.
Reason I shouldn't.
Shouldn't
publish.
I would.
You picked the bits and pieces in the content that you publish, and you make it sound completely different, the opposite way that the person answered the first time. So you're bad at editing would be a good reason for not publishing SE content.
Well, that's something I can learn.
I think a reason you should is because you have a lot of experience already. You've been developing the experience.
Editing is something I can learn. It'd be frustrating.
You mean editing like shooting Messenger, or editing like DaVinci Resolve doing
DaVinci Resolve?
Okay, so she's talking about the video editing. Are you talking about video editing, Luke?
Yeah, well, or conversation editing or content editing. We are publishing content, so everything that is published can be edited.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
As I understand it, I mean, Will's reason isn't very good either. Like, it's not really competition, and it's not really
it's so
competition.
not the zero-sum game. All boats rising is much more the trend.
I cannot think of a reason why you shouldn't. I think that comes down to like whether you have the time to do it. I think that's the only reason.
Okay.
That, like, because you have experience, you should consider doing it.
Okay. If hypothetically you were to publish one or a small handful, would that inform you better?
Maybe. I would have to like actually put it out there for people to critique, not just like publish it, but say, hey, please take a look at this. Tell me what you think.
A reason for not publishing would be to help lesser beings that are care about themselves.
Please tell me that's a joke.
I can't figure out the clarity of that one. But okay.
But like, I think the idea is like, if you're doing something that you're really good at, or people who are not very good at it might look at it and kind of get down on themselves. Or feel jealous, or like the idea like it don't shine too bright, or other people might feel bad about themselves.
Oh, okay. I see. So if you do too good a job, other people feel like they can't measure up and they're not doing it well enough.
Yeah. It's actually something I felt like initially watching Reed or Mark.
Reed was who I was thinking about. Yeah, if anything, if Reed's ever done any damage, it's setting the bar too high. Indeed. And then not wanting to deal with potential negative comments that may arise from public exposure. You say may arise?
May.
Have you read it?
Will. They will come. Publish and they will come.
Yeah.
I generally like try not to read like a lot of YouTube comments. But when you put something out there, that is a risk that you take.
Yep. Every day I call up my YouTube channel and go to the comments that I have not yet responded to and review all the ones. That is kind of an obligation. Is that promoting myself? But that would fit into that engagement that's about engaging the audience. And I mean, I'm happy to do it. It's a pleasant job. My comment sections are actually really nice. We only have very few trolls. And I'm ignoring
that speaks
professional trolls. Like, Peter, come here. We have porn.
I think that speaks volumes
Those
about
are
the
hilarious.
kind of people that seek out SE. I think this says a lot about the kind of people that seek out SE. That mostly, I mean, you'll get like constructive criticism, of course. I mean, they may even tear you apart a little bit, but I don't think a mean-spirited comment in SE community is extremely rare.
Right. Whenever I get negative feedback, if I don't just throw it away because I'm above all that, I reflect it back to other people that I trust and say, should I take this thought seriously? And usually I'll not even throw them to direct comment. I will steel man that thing so that to remove the vitriol. And I'll say, okay, this person has said this about my thing.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think I should this? And I'll shop it to at least 3 people that I trust. And most of the time I'll find that, yeah, don't worry about that. Yeah, Inspire Reflection, William, his comments have been universally positive, hence the May. The community is very positive, and it's only a matter of time. Wow, so your comment section might be slightly better than mine, although mine's 99% good. It really was. Oh, right. Morgan says, if you publish, you are letting the secret out.
Well, I think that's the thing that especially like Anthony Reid want. They want this to be published and to grow more.
Yeah. During this conversation, has your confidence changed?
I think I'm a little more in favor now.
Okay. Let me know if I can help.
That's good.
I'll
Luke,
definitely pass you.
You know right where I live. You're stuck on permafriend. Anyway, yeah. Yes, indeed. William says there's a lack of trade comments to be an indication of interesting thing.
Now you want to look at the context of William, right? You should just to see why does he want us to be.
I think it's a good thing. I think it's a really a show of character on the part of not only like it can be. I think the chasing after positive comments can be kind of dangerous too, because SE is usually performed by really nice people. But it can become kind of a trap too. Like on one hand, you want to get better at this thing, so you might not entirely trust that what they're saying is genuine. On the other hand, you may not see what the other person is seeing. So, like Will and I both have the fatal character flaw of being too hard on ourselves. So even if someone's like being really genuinely kind about something, we don't see it the same way.
Right. It's like a dysmorphia. You see yourself by a different standard or a different light or a harsher light or something like that.
Yeah.
Differently than others see you, maybe. Yeah. I know I've got that. I can't figure out how to calibrate it, but I know it. I know I hold myself to a different standard, and I try to ask my people, my family, my friends to give me their honest feedback and tell me the negative things along with the positive. Yeah. Not all the time.
Point taken.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We were trying to that your main character flaws and over charisma. Because
you should come in the show with that kind of thing.
I wouldn't know.
It'd be interesting to explore the claim of his character flow.
Yes, but not on this show. This is family friendly. Pivoting to Luke. Luke,
yeah,
we're going to bring a claim.
Oh, pick a claim. Yeah, I will type the claims in the chat. Private one. All right.
Okay.
Have 1, 2, 3, 4,
Ah,
5,
nice.
6.
You
I couldn't
have
decide
6
which one.
claims?
Oh shit! There is no. It's one big
Might have to
phrase.
one at a time.
Yeah. I need like a period there.
Oh, sorry. It didn't appear with the. What? Why
You're gonna have
didn't-
to pick. You're gonna have to pick one of them, or dock it out, and we'll pick one. Because my banner's only this big.
Yeah, of course. It's. Oh, it doesn't work. The return doesn't work.
Okay.
Anyway, so
Just say it out. I'll type.
what out loud? The first one is you want to maybe it's one of those. So the first one is
Devil's Oath,
is
sure.
the ultimate bad guy. Hell is a choice. The second one, good can't exist without God, is the third one. If people couldn't lie, society would improve. Fate is not real. And the last one is it is important to have a father and a mother figure. With the N in caps.
I want to float this one first.
Which one?
If people couldn't lie, society would improve. I find that one yummy.
Yeah, that's
I'm going to bring a
interesting
freaking Gervais almost immediately. The invention of lying. Anyway, tell me about this one. Is this everybody good with this one?
I'm good.
Okay. If people couldn't lie, society would improve. So I guess a way that we could, I'm just imagining a way that could happen where we gained, maybe through technology, the ability to tell if somebody was lying, if it was an immediate meter that came up over their head of their truthfulness and leader, so we would know. And that way I could know what sarcasm happened when sarcasm happens. Sarcasm
Some
will come
people
up
have trouble with sarcasm.
Yeah. So, I mean, in this case, people could say whatever they like, but I would know whether or not they're lying. Would that be equivalent?
Yeah. It would improve society because you would be known to be lied to, like this kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. So society improving, what would that look like? And I invite all of us to do the questioning if Luke is good. If good with that, and this doesn't feel like a dog pile. Okay.
No stress. I can take on more than one.
Luke
as long
rocks.
as you
Luke's
don't
one of
fight
our
with
practice
each
hosts.
other's, I'm good. And I think
He's
we are.
practiced and thick-skinned and amazing and delightful.
So yeah, the improvement. How do we know that society has improved? Like, can we say that society has improved? I am part of those who claim that it is the case. We have more time, free time. We are less busy to do whatever we want, and it is something that is an improvement in my book measurement of improvement. The more free time I have to have a conversation on the internet, which is free time, I choose to use this free time to do that. And the better I am, or I can make others feel better, this kind of thing, by using SE and having a good conversation and exploring their claims. So we have many tools that are subjective, right? Tools to measure improvement. So I would start with time. And
what would be your favorite measures for if we saw society improving? Which measures, 1, 2, or 3 of them, would be the ones that would matter for this claim? Am I measuring suicide rate?
Listening to God.
Lifespan? Listening to God.
Yeah, because God's will is the best, right?
Okay.
It's the ultimate better best. So if you are unable to lie or cannot lie, and you are listening to God when asked, do you know what
Okay.
God wants you to do?
How do I measure whether you're listening to God?
Well, how do you measure that? I think
Would I be
that's-
able to measure
oh,
how
yeah,
many
yeah,
people are
because,
listening,
it would
or
be
how much they're
improved.
obeying,
Right.
or complying with God's commands, or
So, why does listening to God improve society? That part we understand, right?
no?
No,
I'm going to
we
ask
don't.
that.
Okay.
Well, I might, but I'm only guessing, and I'd rather hear it from you.
All right. So the question is, now that we know that listening to God makes a better word, how do we measure if someone is listening to God or not? That's the question,
Mhm.
right? So
Yeah, how would we measure that, whether somebody's listening to God better or not? Yeah, like if I have a group of people which are listening the best, or if I look at one person over time, are they listening better or worse? Those kind of
How
things.
could we know that the voice we're hearing is God?
yeah, so it's really easy in the society that hypothetical society that we talk about.
Mhm.
That's the ultimate goal, the thing that is at the end of the line of a society where nobody could lie, or if they can, they will still be known as liars, or it was shown in their bar, right?
Yeah. So there's a
So,
bar over their head in this
yeah.
hypothetical for anybody who's just joining us, where whatever you say, people can see your lying bar, whether you're being truthful or lying. Maybe it's color, maybe it's size, maybe it goes horizontal. That's part for the developers. I'm not going to worry about that. We did have a question. This is probably the right time. Is it what is a lie? There's also
The second
there's also
part.
a question of lies. So if someone, this is the one. Is someone having a misunderstanding of a situation considered a lie?
No, lie is purposefully hiding the truth.
Okay,
So there needs
I've
to
got a
be
court
purpose
case.
for lying to be.
Yeah, I've got a court case, and I've got a couple of witnesses that both saw the car accident, and their answers are opposed to each other. They are not possible that they both could be correct. What could I see both of their truth meters up? Could they both have a high truth meter?
Yeah, like yeah, they are both telling the truth.
Okay,
because
so this is lying according to their own
mistaken.
understanding and beliefs. This isn't about whether or not they're actually correct in their observation or assumptions.
Yeah, it's not about objective truth. It's about the subjective truth.
Okay, good. I think that answers a lot of the question, like what is a lie contrary to the truth, right? There's lies to children, which is essentially, I'm going to call lies to children oversimplifications, over approximations. Pi is 3 is a lie to children, maybe. Anyway, I don't know if that. So anyway, I don't think the lies to children is part of what you're talking about, because again, I could believe that pi is approximately 3.
The what? Oh, the number pi is approximately 3. Is a yeah. It's not a lie.
Right. Okay. Good.
Yeah.
If I said it was exactly 3, then my lie meter goes off.
Well, in your case, I hope so.
I promise I only know it to like 6 or 7 digits.
I know what it you.
But if it was someone else, I would say, okay, you can still be green and be mistaken because he's not versed in mathematics and what pi is.
Yeah.
Right.
So
and
if
for
we
him,
know,
it might be the number of slice in a pie, and that's that was 3, exactly 3.
So what is the connection between we can tell when somebody is speaking exactly in alignment with their own understanding or not? How does that lead us to listening to God more?
Yep. Do not lie is one of the 10 commandments.
Okay.
So if you do not lie, you are doing what God's want.
Don't bear false witness against your neighbor one? Thank you.
Yeah. You have the correct phrasing. in English. So yeah, you will do by not lying what God wants you to do. But how can I say that? If you have something to do, I need to go to school, let's say, and somebody says, I will bring you to school, and you have a lie meter in place, and the lie meter lights up, so therefore you know that he won't bring you to school.
I see.
You understand that it makes
like the intention of the promise shows up in the lie meter. If I tell you I'm going to take you to school and I fully intend to, and I believe that I reasonably believe that I would be able to, but then I don't, that didn't mean I lied. That meant I was wrong in my prediction and something came up.
Right. Something. Yeah, it's not the green meter. Well, let's say red light is a lie and green light is not a lie. This kind of thing. Okay. I can imagine a system where you have to push a button and you just have a certain amount each day that you can push the button to know if the person is lying or not. It's gonna be fun.
I can tell, but I've only got 3 tests a day. Ooh,
that would be an interesting
I'd have
concept.
to tell you 3 trivial truths that make you wonder before I tell you the big whopper.
The lies, yeah.
Yeah. There's a prisoner's dilemma game in there somewhere.
Loopholes somewhere. Anyway, to answer the question, how does it link to God? God tells you what is good. Improvement is a good thing. It is something that God wants you to do. Therefore, and if the society improve, you are doing what God wants you to do. You are doing more of the things that God wants you to do.
Is it doing what God wants you to do that improves society? Or society improving means you're doing... Well, I'm not sure which came first.
God came first.
Okay, so if you follow God's rules, society will improve. And we could measure this by seeing how well people behave in alignment with God's rules. God's will.
Rules, will. Same.
Yeah. So if we were to track violations of the 10 Commandments, would that be a reasonable thing? Or maybe bigger than 10? Maybe Jewish 613 or whichever number.
Those.
Not those. Too many.
You can to each other.
Anyway. Now, go ahead.
Have there ever... Let me try to rephrase that. When in history can you think of that people have believed that they were doing God's will and done incredible harm?
Are there events in the past where people were mistaken in doing God's will? Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
An example of one of those, slavery.
Okay. If they used biblical justifications for slavery, they would just have been wrong.
Yeah, maybe. So. I'm not versed on those subjects, but I heard about it, and I think it might be true. So.
Yeah, I'm sure some people used biblical justification for slavery, and other ones used it as an excuse. Wait, is that justification? I might be dicing terms.
Well, justification, well, some use it as a justification while others use it as a,
I guess there's a big difference between the reason they're actually doing it and the reason they're giving you to excuse it.
Well, I guess the point I was thinking was some people using God's word as an excuse for slavery, and some people were using it as a reason to abolish slavery.
Yeah. Both sides were armed with their Bibles.
I have a couple myself, so
I hope that answers your question.
But I think there can be a lot in there that can be subject to interpretation. So how do we know, we're interpreting correctly what God wants us to do. Like, people can use God's word to excuse a lot of other things that are not so nice.
So you use logic and data. The Catholic Church is the one that is the closest to God's truth. So if you want to know really what you should do in general, you will up to the Catholic Church.
Mm-hmm.
That's how.
Morgan and Stephen bring up an interesting side point. Could you have good reasons to lie?
Yes.
If a mass murderer had a lie detector gauge, they could ask questions which would lead to the location of, earlier somebody said Anne Frank in the closet. So could this inability to lie effectively, or whatever, a meter that would prevent effective lying, would that be exploitable by bad actors?
Yes. But the bad actors wouldn't be able to become bad actors.
Oh,
because of the thing.
They would be disempowered up front.
Yeah. Before they had the power to be bad, they will stop. Or be incarcerated, or
Hitler never could have got to power without people believing lies.
Could the person lying actually believe that they were telling the truth?
They wouldn't be lying. If they believe they're telling the truth, it's not a lie.
Aha. Could that be an out for Hitler? He could believe his bullshit?
Yeah.
Like Hitler, I think Hitler was a true believer in what he was saying, but what he was saying led to a lot of harm to others. And like a lot of other people
was because he successfully lied. What if he wasn't lying because he believed wrong? Is that a way that he could have still gotten to power because he genuinely believed what we think are lies?
But the reason why in this hypothetical world where people have this meter, this lying meter, people like Hitler wouldn't be able to rise to power.
Why?
He needed to lie in order to be in power.
The point is, if he's a true believer, it wouldn't be a lie. It would just be wrong.
No. Like
he would be honestly mistaken.
For him to be in power, the way he used lies.
Yes, he used lies and propaganda. Mm-hmm.
Yes, and he was aware, like real lies. There were things that weren't lies. They were mistake on his part, but he used lies to be powerful and have the power to do whatever he wanted.
Yeah,
the thing that he wanted to do, not whatever the thing he wanted to do. So, no, this wouldn't happen in the world where, in a society where people couldn't lie. People like Hitler would be stopped at the beginning, even before the idea of the Aryan race being a good thing. It wouldn't be there. There would be no reason for him to believe that it is better to have this kind of thing because of the way he was raised.
Yeah. I'm imagining a steel man. A steel opposition steel man. So this might be a message. What if lying is an evolutionary arms race between the people that can almost always cooperatively tell you the truth and then take big advantage when they are successfully able to lie because they've gained your trust? I'm simplifying how a society works that's cooperative.
So, yeah, it's possible, but unlikely. That's what I would say. So, to prove that it is an evolutionary tool, we would need to find a lie that made the world better, at least one.
Oh, It makes one person's life better.
Yeah, the word. You understand what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Noble lies. Oh, you can have me thinking.
Yeah.
You've induced Emporia. You guys talk.
Yeah. So I just want to make sure I have the definition of lie correct before I ask my question. So a lie is what you subjectively believe to be true about the world, whether or not it's actually true about the world.
Correct.
So
a lie is when you say something that you know is false, or know in the sense that you believe is false. So you say out loud something that you believe is false because you're truthless. There is no coffee cup in my table. Oh, there's no coffee cup on my table today. What's going on?
So if there's something that you believe to be true about the world, but if you tell somebody that truth, that it's going to hurt that person. And let's say you're in a situation where you have to tell them, like it's not something where you can just avoid saying anything at all, but like you're in that situation. Would the society improve if we are telling people things that will hurt them in some way? I'm being very abstract, but I'm sure we could come up with examples that are specific.
That's the thing. So we can think of words that go together or situation that could arise where such a thing that you just described could be the case, but it is unlikely that it will ever happen. In real life, there is no such situation where I'm thinking of the Jews in the basement, right? I don't have Jews in my basement. We talked about Hitler and extra. So in these cases, if you had the lie detector, it would be bad. But the situation of having Jews to lie for Jews in the basement would never appear before. So because of this tool of being able to see who is lying. So we will never get to the point where there is a need to hide Jews in the basement in the first case. So this situation will never be in a world where you can't lie.
Yes. Supper.
Okay.
I do appreciate that feedback. Thank you for calling that out. And in the case of Luke, I was willing to potentially do a little report spending, and so I hung a lampshade out and called it messaging as I did it. That is a good call. Any further questions from the panel?
No. I think I understand where Luke's coming from.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
yeah. You've shifted my confidence a little bit.
So there is this question: how can we know that this is true, and can we test it today? This is a question we didn't find, and the answer is yes. You can start with your own family, the ones around you. You say, okay, this week we don't lie, and this week we do, right? And we compare how this mini society, which is a family, is like the nucleus of a society. So you understand which week was better, the one where we were able to lie, or the one where we weren't able to lie or allowed to lie. There is a trust thing that is easier when you are in a family than outside in the world.
Yeah,
but
yeah. I could totally imagine me telling my family and intimates that during the month of November, you are permitted to lie to me as much as you want, and you get to tell me in December what was wrong. So do make a note.
Oh, every time you lie?
Yeah.
When they lie, you wouldn't be able to lie.
I just learned about Gmail's send it later feature. That's kind of cool. Type me up an email with a November delivery date and tell me about the things and see what happens. And I know I'm on this ride. I'm not going to hold it against you.
That's a fun thing that you could do. And yeah, you compare how good your life is, your family's life is, the success and things like that in your family, and you have more free
it
time.
would become a game, and it would be incredibly fun. I think it would be crazy fun, especially because I have this cool out that in November I'll get to learn about the reality of it, and I'm just holding in suspense until then, because in a month I get as if this were October 1st, but whatever. At the end of the month, I get to actually know all the truth. So all I have to do is suspend disbelief or suspend belief about stuff and go along, and yeah, it's fun.
That's one way to do it.
Very
Another
compelling.
way.
I'm not sure if I'm agreeing with the convincing, but I could definitely see how society could be very different with this detector. I mean, scientifically I'm thinking, so there's a scanner and thing with the brain, maybe you got your Neuralink, you got you going on, and then there's an app that then there's stuff, and somebody brought up, could you write a fiction book that could later be interpreted as truth? So I wrote a book set from 1964 to 1968, and it's entirely fiction, but it's written very carefully to not be provably fiction. I was very careful to not have anything leave evidence that would say that this specific thing was a lie, because everything I use in it is stuff that was possible at the time, technologically known, and the whole thing's inside of a secret project. Therefore, why you don't know? Well, look how good it was. That's a standard conspiracy theory. You can't prove it didn't, and it was secret. So therefore, no, it's not a good reason to believe it. But I could totally see something doing. And I think in this world that you're talking about, all of those pages would have red around the edges.
All of?
Well, no, not all of, because the forward and the afterword in the book, the footnotes in the book, those would all be green. Everything I say until I start telling the story is true. Everything I say at the afterwards, when I talk about what led to the book, when I talk about in the afterword who the characters were and information about all that stuff is true.
The book is true. You are not hiding the truth. You're not claiming that the book is about history. You're claiming that the book is a fictional book. So there is no reason for the book to be a lie. It's all true.
It's not, but I don't believe it's true. The one who wrote it doesn't believe it's true, so it comes up red. That's the fiction tag.
Okay, so when you call a book a fiction,
yes. Oh, so as long as I put fiction on the title or put fiction in there somewhere, then the rest of it is neither green nor red. But there would be green about that it's fiction.
Is there something in between green and red? Like, is it only green or red, or is there some gradient? Some gray area?
Yeah, I don't mind. For this claim here, this idea is a fun idea, but this the purpose of it is that we can change the word starting with our family. That is how we make a better word tomorrow. And we can know what happens when a lie comes into a society, a small society like how to call community in a community. Okay, you have a small community. They trust each other around plans. Let's say about the natural community, and there is a lie that seeps in. So it goes well, it grows really well, and we have more and more people coming into the community, and nobody has have to lie up to that point. So you can see that communities, you can observe that in the past when you look at how did that turn out to be, how to fall, did this community fall. The reason why a community fall in history is because of lies. If there weren't lies, there would be no reason for this community to fall. Usually, what I found was lying about how much money they made. So money was. So yeah, no, we don't have enough money. Yes, you do. You just want more for yourself, and you don't want people to know.
I did not make any of this money. The mint did. And my father was a printer, and I swear I did not make any of this money.
It's okay.
Could have.
But
I know how. I've made printed things that good. Anyway, but I've never made currency. Anyway, I really like Abe's thing. I lie to people. I lie most to people by agreeing with their misunderstandings. So you just keep nodding your head, and you without correcting them, you just reinforce their thing by not expressing your disbelief.
Not objecting.
Yeah, not objecting. So would that mean that effectively you, because you could see my meter, might be able to ask some very simple questions as a part of your habit and know how much you are believed?
Yeah, I'm thinking of yesterday you were with Stephanie and you like and you went to the hamburger place and then you have a big red light in front of your head. I'm like, oh yeah, thank you. So I would know. That's Stephanie, and then I would do maybe Steve. Was it Steve?
Was it what?
I don't know how to. I don't think people would. You are raised in a world where you have this kind of knowledge of seeing an aura around the person. You can see that the person is lying when the person is lying.
Okay.
There is so much.
We have an ingrained sense of whether somebody's being honest.
I think we have this kind of knowledge or innate sense. Yeah, innate sense is a good word. I think we do. We don't have a green red light, but we know. We kind of know when we are being lied to.
Yeah,
right?
There's almost a spiritual term here, but discernment. Some people call it spiritual discernment when they're claiming religious capability to know when somebody's lying. I know that's what they call it in Mormonism, or LDS. Well, whichever. No offense intended calling them Mormon. It is. If I had discernment, is that similar to what you mean? Is discernment a good term?
It's a good term.
I know. I'm asking a Frenchman.
Yeah.
What about English?
Yeah. Is it a good term in English? So yeah, I think we have like a little voice in our heads. Yeah, telling us, oh, he's lying to you, or she's lying to you. She's not.
Yeah.
This kind of
I get a distinct impression about how well people, and I think sometimes that I can misfire on that.
Yes.
I think my discernment.
That's why.
Yeah,
that's why we
I get
don't
a lot of red flags with salesman creepiness. When I think somebody's trying to sell me something, I just my lie meter goes off, my bullshit detector goes off, and I think sometimes it goes off to my detriment, and I'm incorrect because I just have associative understanding of that. But I don't. We'll see.
There's Gina.
If you were asked by all the women whether you want to have sex with them, would it be beneficial for you to be honest?
In today's, so we don't have so the answer is yes. In reality, what happens is that the girl who doesn't want to have sex with me wouldn't ask the question. She doesn't care about me wanting to have sex with her if she doesn't want to do it, right?
Right.
So in real life, if I say the truth, there is no detriment.
Yeah.
In this question, about this question, there is nothing.
Morgan brings up the question. So if it's your boss, and my answer to this Morgan, is that's on the list of things your boss would not be allowed to ask, because they can. If anyone on this panel were to ask me if I was attracted to them, wanted to have sex with them or something like that, I'd do it in DMs. But I would be perfectly willing to honestly answer and elaborate and all that kind of thing, because I'd want to be honest and give people feedback, whether or not it's just even hypothetical. If my trans friend says, "Hey, does my body turn you on?" It's really important for me to be honest. Right now, that's lying would be unkind in any direction,
and there would be consequences.
Yeah, potentially, especially relationship stuff. And of course, it's up to them if they'd want to ask the question. In almost all of my relationships, that would just be a weird thing for me to bring up.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, do you want to know if I am interested to have sex with you? No. Yeah.
I do think I could actually ask that question honestly to every one of my intimates. I really do think that but that might be because that's the way I select people that are intimates, that I'd be able to ask such a question and expect that it would be an acceptable question to even talk about.
Yeah. Wouldn't be hurt by the question.
Okay. This has been fun. Yeah. Does it help to summarize? I think we understand each other really well. Stephen asks, would suicides increase in a world where nobody lied?
No.
Okay.
I don't see why. Why would it increase? It would decrease a lot.
I mean,
could you imagine?
I can imagine, Luke, that if we're only speaking the truth and you're telling someone your honest opinion, it could be taken as really mean in some cases, where maybe a kind white lie might work better than a mean truth.
Mm-hmm.
Like there is, even with no lying in the world, there is still such a thing as bad intent. There is still, like, people still have biases and prejudices.
Yeah.
Yes, but it would be known by others as
it doesn't matter. You have that now. We've had it like for a really long time, and when people express these opinions time after time after time, we call it bullying, and people take their own lives over that.
Okay, so you have what's hard is, okay, let's say that you live in a family inside of society that is not lying, and you ask, do you have a higher chance to kill yourself in a family that doesn't lie to you, or a family that do lie to you?
It doesn't matter.
What if your family really, really hates something about you?
Mm-hmm. What can be, you understand, like, there is nothing that your family really hates that much.
Yes.
My mother
really
hates my sexuality so much so that she refused to speak to me for a decade.
Okay, so she would say something along the line, I don't like where you're headed sexually, right? And and the hurt because the reason why someone kills themselves is because they have been hurt by something that happens to them, the word, and they want the hurt to stop. So the hurt that is caused by this truth
Mm-hmm.
is less than the hurt that would be caused by the lie.
Okay. My mother has been completely truthful with me about her hate for my sexuality. And she would say it's Leviticus 18:20 or 21.
Yeah, something.
Leviticus 18 something.
Yeah. That's sad. I wish she wouldn't have done that. It's not a good thing.
I wish that was true too. And don't nobody try to talk her out of it now. It's too late for her to gain enough benefit from changing her mind, and so it's too costly. Leave her alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For people who know her. Yeah. So
thank you for the commenter. Leviticus 18:22. Thank you.
He knows the verse.
Wisdom of the crowd.
To answer the question, would that make it higher? The answer is no, because the lie hurts more than the truth.
Yeah. If she lied to me about it, that would have probably been worse. I knew why she wasn't speaking with me. That's better than if I didn't know why.
Yeah, could you imagine? Oh shit! But yeah, even if you know that she was lying, like there is hurt linked to somebody lying to you. No, knowing the truth afterwards, right? You lied for a month, like in the exercise that you gave. But that's a cool thing. I like your exercise. I wish you could like a month of lying where you send the lie by email for the next month.
I love it. Hey, frankly, if somebody wants to set up a situation like that, I'm in. Include me in the process. I think it would be absolutely lovely. I do expect it might affect my social performance for the duration of the trial, because I might be constantly going,
Do they really mean that? Do you really mean what you're saying right now?
Yeah. I see my. See, you can see it. Yeah. Wow. Thank you.
That's a question.
Let me give you the last word on that one. Is there any other thoughts on this that we'd like to talk about before we see if we get a last caller?
I'm good. In a family, try it inside. Teach your kids to not lie. Like keep teaching your kids.
Yeah, for me, this would be a very opt-in kind of study. So I would check with both family and friends and all sorts of people, and see who might be interested in doing a game like that. That would be fun.
Have a good day, Luke.
So Chase offered a claim. Let me see if I can pull it up. It was early on. It was about marijuana legalization, and was I'm not scrolling back that far. Oh my goodness. So I'll just say marijuana should be legalized for all adults. And let's see. That's probably all I need to say. Do any of us want to make that claim? Would either of you like to interview that claim if I make it?
Either or.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then both. I choose both.
Okay.
2-on-1.
Okay. So my claim is mirroring Chase to whatever degree I can, and sorry, I'm getting lost in the techie. Okay, I'm back. I will type the claim, but I'll say it first. Marijuana should be legalized for everybody over a given age. and I am perfectly happy to discuss what age that should be, and it might change my confidence if the age is too far out of my own range. But we could talk about the why on the age, almost like a subclaim or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
This is a fun claim because of the recent Biden announcement that all simple possession at the federal level is pardoned, and I assume that also includes instructions to the Justice Department to no longer bring cases of simple possession or charge simple possession, which I think can be just done at an executive level. Like, we're not going to charge for that crime. I'm assuming that's part of it. I haven't actually checked the details. I'm just going to assume that's the case, and like that. So, questions?
Which one
Gina,
you
do you have
want
any
to go
questions?
first?
Okay, I guess I can start. So, did you want to establish an age first, or did we want to explore just the legalization generally?
Okay, my confidence would change depending on the age. If the age were 25, my confidence is very, very high. If the age were as low as 16, my confidence is much lower. At the age of 10, my confidence is less than 50.
All right. So let's say 25. I think that would be get a sense of where your high confidences are.
Yeah, at 25, I currently think that the brain has achieved sufficient developments to be minimally negatively affected by marijuana, but that for children, especially in puberty, that there are significant lifelong negative effects. Therefore, it's at least as dangerous as alcohol in those age groups.
And then what would you, what would be the upside? We'll start with the upside and we'll do downside. What's the upside to legalization?
Reduction of stigmatization, reduction of pushing something with pushing something that somebody's using into a black market, and attaching criminal liabilities to it, reduction on spending in terms of war on drugs or the enforcement of such things, benefit of being able to tax a substance and provide an additional revenue opportunity, control of production to make sure FDA standards and not giving somebody ergot poisoning and all the different, the mold and all the different things that go along with not being able to regulate pot. You get bad pot, preventing the adding of substances that you didn't want to your pot because you didn't control all of the handling. Somebody puts in something. I don't mind if they put in a little orange oil to make it smell nice, but a heck of a mind if they start putting in some other hallucinogens or something else in that I didn't know about. That would affect my experience or my safety level. Improvement of the quality of the product because it's going through a dispensary, meaning that the negative health downsides are reduced given relative dosing. Cost to the person using it, that kind of thing.
Those reasons, I think you gave us like 9.
Yeah, 8 or 9. And they
which
overlap
one,
a lot.
Which one do you think is the most important here?
Losing the criminalization and stigmatization of people, because I think that victimizes people unnecessarily. We do recognize that amongst adults, something more than 37% of adults have used marijuana significantly. So we're criminalizing more than a third of our population over something that is not tied to a lot of direct harm. I mean, and I'm comparing direct harm to, let's just say it's not more dangerous than smoking tobacco. And a lot of people would argue that it's a lot less dangerous, but I'm just going to say, if tobacco is okay for adults, not weed.
Yeah.
Without the potential risk of even allowing weed for maybe not someone for maybe not the age of 25 or 16, but lower the age a little bit to 21, and how do you feel about it?
I am very attracted to 21 because we already have that as an age for drinking alcohol. So I think there would be a greater social acceptance to making it the same as either 21 or 18, because we've really marked a groove in majority or adulthood at those two ages in our society. So that's the reason to choose those numbers. Unfortunately, 21 is before the brain has completed that stage of development where it's a downside. So it's a higher risk for people between 21 and 25. By the way, all of that applies for alcohol. I would be in favor of raising the drinking age to 25 if you're going to have a drinking age. If there's a reason to protect children from it, then there's that. And right now, I think that the age is set is as high as the government can manage to set it and get away with it. I don't think it's set based on reasonable medical choices. I think it's set based on we can at least get this passed. I think it's a compromise.
What are the possible risks involved, even with like destigmatization and decriminalization of it?
So imagine that a municipality, a state legalizes marijuana, and suddenly people start using a lot more of it. So to the degree that there are health downsides and psychological downsides and maybe productivity at work problems or what am I thinking? The psychological and social downsides. That's what I mean, along with the health stuff. To the degree that that's the case, if you increase the number of people using or the amount that they're using or something like that, those downsides accumulate for them. Additionally, there's downsides for other people. If drunk driving is bad, is stone driving more dangerous than not stone driving? I think there's reason to think so. I don't think it's quite as bad as alcohol, but then again, alcohol, when I actually investigated it, isn't nearly as dangerous as we're told. The actual rate of accidents when drunk is not nearly as much more than the regular as the propaganda would say. And I'm not defending drunk driving. I'm saying there's a proportionality there. So
to try to summarize here, just to make sure I'm keeping up with you, you can see where there are like social and psychological downsides and maybe consequences to a person's work status and work performance. And also, like, you could imagine very easily that that stoned or driving under the influence of marijuana could be equally as dangerous as driving under the influence of alcohol.
Yeah, and even if it's comparatively less or more, as long as it's even comparable, it's obviously a hazard that we would want to avoid. So in the same sense that you could get capped for drunk driving, even though it's legal for you to drink, you could totally get capped for stone driving. That's already in the rules.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't want to increase the prevalence of stone driving.
Is there some way we could test this safely?
Yes, we already have natural tests. Groups, for reasons other than mine, or maybe somewhat in alignment, have managed to make marijuana legal in a bunch of places. So we have the natural test of comparing the before and after effects and seeing what trends change when those kind of things happen. So yes, we already have a bunch of natural examples because of the trend of changing laws. So yeah, we can test all of those effects. We could test how much stone driving affects accidents. We could test whether job performance suffers for a population group when they have more access. We could test if the number of people who use it goes up.
How did you come to this decision, this claim?
How did I come to this claim? Well, Chase suggested it, but I agree with him already.
Well, why do you agree?
The thing that changed my mind at first was an idealism, kind of a libertarian ideal, or classical, what do you call it? Classical liberal idea of maximum individual autonomy, that I may swing my fist in any way so long as it's not going to contact your nose. And this is a question of my own bodily autonomy. So I started from a very idealistic position of about the war on drugs. And notice that I didn't give that reason. I don't think that reason should be compelling to people that don't take the epistemology of you need to believe in something really, really strong in order to make it effect. That's a noble lie I don't believe anymore. But all the other reasons still apply, which I enumerated.
One of the benefits was the risk of things like marijuana has fentanyl mixed in because of how it's processed. You had said drugs, things that were like hallucinogens mixed into the marijuana.
Right,
I
right.
think fentanyl's another one. But are there any
like that
risks?
stuff that's 1,000 times stronger than heroin? Is that what you said?
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
fentanyl.
that stuff is bad.
Fentanyl.
Yeah, you don't want that. But
And I totally don't want any of that, and I think I'm safe. I'm less likely to get that in the dispensary than I could going down to my friend at the reggae place.
So, are there any risk to what's the contents are in legalized marijuana? So we know that you have less risk of, or no risk of fentanyl. There shouldn't be any fentanyl in there or other hallucinogens because it's regulated. But what are some of the risks of the contents of legalized marijuana and products?
Maybe I get, maybe I find a particular like wax or concentrate that's processed with something that's actually dangerous, and because it's not as well regulated as I like or I think, I'm actually sucking up benzene or something that makes it actually worse or more dangerous. Again, I'm looking for anything that has a negative health effect or a change in the experience that I didn't ask for. Stuff like that. What I think the odds and my own exposure to it in my own experience is that the dispensary stuff is much safer in that regard, but I don't consider anything perfectly safe from that. I would really wonder what the goal of adding fentanyl would be. Is it to enhance the experience and make you think that this particular weed is amazingly potent?
What my understanding is, it's just processed in the same drug thing in
Oh,
Mexico, where they're processing. It's cross contamination. Yep, that's that with the illegal weed. That's the risk there.
Yeah. Okay. Good thing I don't have nut allergies. I don't know what that matters.
But yeah. So that was. I had a friend who this is. And not so much messaging, but just the person was like, she bought something that was marijuana based, and she's like, this has no THC, right? Like she didn't want the THC part. She wanted just because if you take the THC out, you have all the other benefits still there. And he's like, oh yeah, it doesn't have any THC. And then she ate some, and she's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure that had THC in it. Because
there might be some sort of distinction about Delta 8 versus Delta 9 tetrahydrocannabinol, and one of them being legal in some places while the other one isn't. And maybe
that was what. Yeah. So maybe our regulations aren't quite there.
Yeah. I want it all to be legal, and if there's a difference, I want that to be clearly labeled. I really like the nutrition facts on the back of food. I want that for my drugs. As it is right now, I get a vague promise that it's 65 to 80% THC by weight or something for stuff like the wax concentrates. So anyway, it's nice when it's legal where you are.
Yeah.
It's decriminalized here.
Yeah, we have medical here, but I think CBD you don't need. Like if you're just doing CBDs, that's separate.
Some part of it's that's legit for most everywhere. I don't really know what the laws are around the world. it seems like the trend is toward legalization or liberalization. And I am pretty sure that there's some places like Saudi Arabia where they don't even allow alcohol, and that's probably not okay. And, you know, we expect authoritarian countries are going to say no.
Yeah.
So, any further questions?
What
Joni.
would raise your confidence? Something you don't know today.
Okay, so I haven't studied the statistics, but show me the 10 years before and the 10 years after the states legalize it, make it available. Maybe that's at the medical level or whatever, and start to show me these statistics that where people's lives improve or disimprove in ways that I think matter. And that would both raise and lower it basically if the statistics
The
were
same
a lot
test.
different than my estimate. Yeah. As far as the age itself, that I would look to medical developmental stuff, and I would really like them to look at the natural point where they can ask people, do you smoke marijuana? When did you start? And throw them into groups by that, and then test them. It's not a random test. There's a bit of self-reporting in there, but like, what year did you start smoking pot? And divide them up. That's probably workable. And then, you know, give them the kind of tests that would show the difference of development, and see if as a population, that's something that is better or worse, and does it is at a certain age, does it stop mattering? And that's what that would really help me know the age.
And so, like, understanding when both the effects it has, like, in a certain period before and after it's legalized, and then understanding the effects it has on the development of their brains, depending on when they started.
Yeah, that's what would matter to me. And then, of course, those same studies could also make me less sure, because, for example, if I saw that there was a really horrible effect, like people getting permanent depression or going off into schizophrenia or some other kind of thing that's life disabling, horrible thing, then I would no longer think that it was nearly as safe. It's my opinion that marijuana is safer than alcohol. How much safer is, I'm not really sure, and it depends how you measure it.
It depends on what you're using to measure.
Yeah,
like
it
what?
depends. Is it car accidents? Is it life shortening? Is it lung cancer? Is it what standard are you using? Depression?
What would the controls be in that kind of study?
People who do or don't smoke. People who do or don't drink. Does it make sense that I would just divide up an existing population and ask for a big
yeah.
yeah, and just see if there's a strong predictive factor or a consistent difference between those populations in terms of things that we care about. You know, maybe we're not measuring for how often do you get couch lock and watch too much Netflix, because we don't need to protect you from that. That could be good for something.
What would someone who disagreed with you say?
Marijuana is of the devil. It's bad. Okay, that would be one. Another one that says that we need to protect people from all sorts of poisons, things like that, and they might be in favor of getting rid of tobacco and alcohol as well as an option. There's a big support for eradicating drugs. There's think of the children. If this dangerous thing is available to adults, it's available only one step removed from children. They could easily just steal it out of their parents' where do you keep alcohol? It's like a
safe. A liquor cabinet.
Yeah, like a liquor cabinet, and maybe you have a pot cabinet or a pot drawer or something. Like, kids could steal it, and they would, of course, right? They're gonna, and especially if you use a lot, you wouldn't notice. If they use 10% of your weed, you're not going to figure that out. And so the argument would be there's that slippery slope toward letting something that's actually damaging people who aren't in the control to be able to mitigate that damage. They need to be protected. Are those enough, or do you want more?
I think those are enough.
Okay.
I think the last one, because this is a shit question, like how would the world be different if more people agreed with you?
If more people agreed with me, we would spend way less on the war on drugs. And this claim is only about marijuana, but if they agree with me on a lot, then that probably means that everything with a medical use would be available over the counter without prescription to everybody in the world that's an adult. And as far as criminalization, it doesn't mean that your work is going to be okay with it, and especially not if you drive a truck. The drug policies for individuals, all I'm doing is taking the criminal aspect away from it and saying people can be stupid. People are allowed to poison themselves if they want to. It would be my position. So I think in that particular case, we would lose a small few percent to a less intentional form of suicide. And we would have, I actually think we would have fewer people addicted stuck. I think the people who get addicted stuck are going to do so whether it's legal or not. And the expense and the risk leads to the addiction problems being something where they don't want to carry very much at a time. So they're visiting their dealer 3 times a week, and they're living their life for $40 or $100 at a time. And they're paying ridiculous costs for the stuff, and they get stuck, and their life spins down the drain because they can't maintain it. If it's legal and it's over the counter, well, you can deal with the downsides of the health issues and all of the issues that where it might fuck up your life to be doing some weird bad thing. But you'd have much more in the way of options for a better bad thing.
Yeah.
To avoid smoking nicotine, I vape nicotine, and because the nicotine I still want, and I want it safer. Should be my right. Now, it doesn't mean it's my right in your restaurant or your elevator. My permission to blow ends at your nose. People like
Rosemary, do you have any other questions?
No, I think I think we've covered the whole gamut of. I don't know if there's anything. Do we ask if there's anything to lower the confidence, or did you just ask higher?
I think he covered both, because he said basically like the same exam the same kind of test depending on where it came out, would like both raise and lower his confidence. Basically the negative or positive effects on the lives of people.
I found results out of my own error bar, my intuitive error bar. That would move.
It goes both ways. No, I think we covered a pretty good swath there.
Thank you.
It's hard when you don't have a strong disagreement to come up with questions.
True. I'm not inclined to take myself, but I'm not going to argue with. I basically think that the war on drugs has done more harm than the drugs themselves in this case.
Yeah, I would certainly agree with that, especially in terms of ruined lives. we in this country incarcerate a greater fraction of our population than either any developed country or with a very few exclusions that we would look at as holy shit in terms of human rights violations. So what are we doing wrong? Is this all about drugs? Is drugs a big part of it, or is drugs just a way to charge somebody when you have a hard time proving that they did the burglary? If we're charging for drugs and getting people in there because it's easier to prove, when we had several other options and we just went for the easy drug thing and say that's enough. Yes, they did 3 other felonies, but this gets them in as much time without that. And is it a shortcut?
Yeah.
Why do we incarcerate so many of our people? It does seem outsized. Is that the price of freedom?
Yeah. The price of freedom is no freedom. Doesn't make sense.
Yeah. That most people get to have lots of freedom and there are very few people get none. Or, well, I mean, hopefully mostly good reasons, right? Mostly good reasons.
Yeah.
You're a lawyer. You know more than me about that.
Yeah. You'd hope that, no.
Yeah.
Maybe that's an exploration for a
I know
different day.
several felons in my inner circle that are felons for drug reasons where there is no identifiable victim.
Well, I mean, felon, I think a lot of people think of felon as like somebody who's done a violent crime, and that's not what it is. It just means you've had imprisonment of more than 1 or 2 years, whatever the state or federal law is. It's like misdemeanor is under that bar, and felon is over that bar. It has to do with the length of punishment, not the character of the crime.
Right. It's the length of the punishment, and we very much think of those categorically, because I think in one case you lose your voting rights, and the other one you don't. Things like that.
And like sometimes you lose them permanently.
At least as bad as this, and then we all think about first degree murder, and no, this could be tax evasion.
Yeah, wrote a bad check.
This could be possession of something recreational.
Yeah.
Okay, Dali, Rosemary, I think that's all the time we have.
It is. So if you wave, we can let the AI finish the broadcast with us.
Bye, everybody.